describe one positive and one negative of the long-range facilities plan.
I believe that the one positive of the long-range facilities plan is that it does consolidate buildings. We have way too many buildings for the number of students that we have, and by consolidating, we'll free up over $500,000 for elementary schools, and I believe it's $1.3 million for high schools. The one negative, I believe, and I believe this is the perception of most community members, is that it takes away neighborhood schools.
One positive thing about the long-range facilities plan is I think that it encouraged me to get back into the school business again after all these years of doing other things. Because my heart is with children. I come from a family of 12. And one thing my mother always encouraged was us to get a good education. And the positive thing about a good education is we're all productive. Teachers, lawyers, doctors, and we're so proud of who we are. And I think a negative of the long-range facility plan is its divisiveness of what it's caused in this community. I don't think it's healthy, but at the same time, if we can have a healthy civil conversation on how to make this the best and return this to the best district it can be, because it was when I came here, that would be a good effect.
Hello. Positive, I think, is right here in this very community. I think the rebuilding of the Lakeside Lester Park School, where accessibility and children of limited accessibility could not even get in the school and not even be able to attend classes, having to go to other schools to be able to do that, is an absolute must. I believe one of the negatives, I also believe the divisiveness that this has created in our community and in our neighborhoods. I personally have lost friends over my position with that, and I think that that's a very unfortunate thing for me personally, and it's an unfortunate thing for everybody that's living through that as we work our way through this plan. So, thank you.
The positive of the plan was it was community driven, and the community group that we had was a representation of a wide variety of people, and from old to young, and different colors and all sorts of different things. So that would be the positive, that it was community driven. The community told us that they wanted us to get this done, and we followed through on that. The downside was it wasn't done 20 years ago.
I think the good thing is that there is a plan. It may not be the perfect plan, but there is a plan, and it is one that can be followed as you look at what's happening around town. Out in my neck of the woods, if you drive along Grand Avenue and you get an opportunity to see what Denfeld looks like for the first time from Grand Avenue, you'll have an idea of what it's going to be like. The negative is that, in my opinion, it's taking too long to get it done. And I know there are people who are going to look at me like she's lost her mind. But no, I think if every community could have a homecraft right now where you could see those kids playing and how excited they are about their school, you'd understand how great this plan is. It is the children we're serving here, and they're the ones who said, no smelly bathrooms. They've got a decent playground, a wonderful cafeteria, but for parents, they have a secure entrance to the building. They don't have to worry somebody can come in there and hurt their children. And I'm getting stopped again. Every time I get fired up and get going, she puts that sign up. It's hard.
The positive, Laura, is we're learning how to be a little less windy. That's what's happening. The positive is I really appreciate neighborhood schools. I live in the township. Do you know how long our kids spend on the bus? Okay? Think about that. Average kid, probably an hour and a half out and an hour and a half in. That's 3 hours times 5, 15 hours a week they're spending on the bus. Take away the neighborhood schools. Sorry, folks, it may not be economical in your eyes, but it is in the long run for that child and for those parents. Also, the negative is, I didn't get a right to vote along with every one of my citizens that is telling me I want my right to vote. Were they afraid that we'd vote it down? Well, perhaps. But I think it's too big in the first place. It's going to be way too costly for what I think the outcomes are with all the alternative education out there. You've got online programs, you've got the charter schools, you've got private schools, you've got homeschool, you've got everything. It's taking away the kids.
Yes, there is a positive thing on it. They were finally fixing our schools, some of our schools up, and it's about time. The school board hasn't done that. The school district hasn't been doing it for how many years? What's the negative things? The negative things are they're also getting rid of 5 schools. They're destroying our neighborhood schools. I'm from down in Morgan Park. That is not acceptable. We can't fix up our schools and then tear half of them down. That makes no sense at all. The other negative thing is that this is all done on false pretense. We hear about community involvement. The data given to them was wrong. The studies that we've got now show that the cost to fix up our schools was exaggerated by at least 100%. That's 100%. That's really a negative thing. And of course, I have to agree with again, is that the biggest problem is that we did not get a right to vote. And every state in the country, almost every city in Minnesota, there is a right to vote. And if there would have been appropriate decision making, appropriate people skills that were done on this, we would have passed a reasonable a program, and that wasn't done because of the lack of people skills on the school.